It's a bit disproportionate to what some people get away with in this world. I didn't want to just go in there and go, sort me out. Lance was going to fund that for me. But he's also got an ego the size of a house.
What have you learned, particularly about trusting people? I mean, I love your relationship with Lance Armstrong. I think that's pretty special. Have I read that right?
Yeah. Lance is, he's helped me a lot in recent years, more so this year. You know, we're talking about therapy. He wants to pay for me to go to this big place in Atlanta, I think it is, where you go and stay for a week. They take the phone off you, and Lance was going to fund that for me. He's a good man. You know, he did what he did. It's not to condone what he did. We all know that. You know, but it's a bit disproportionate to what some people get away with in this world. And Lance has got 5 children. He's married, and he's got a heart under there somewhere. But he's also got an ego the size of a house. Don't get me wrong. Yeah.
He's not the only one. Come on.
Hey, the ego is. That's why he won 7 tours. Well, he didn't. Or he did. Who knows?
So spotting your avoidance strategy, and you've got one of your heroes and a friend offering you a route to or access to support.
Yeah.
What's your response to him then?
Straight away, I don't need help. Yeah. I was like, how dare you? No, I don't. Yeah. But thanks for the offer, like. But that was 6 months ago, 5 months ago now. And I've actually considered speaking to him this week and going, yeah, that offer's still on the table, Lance. Not in a northern accent, obviously, but I don't want to do that.
But isn't it great, though, that even in those 5 months, you've developed change, and things have happened?
I think the big part of that is I wanted to get back to a semblance of order myself.
Yeah.
Thinking there's something about you. You know, if you can come back from that yourself without sitting down with someone and then them being the reason you got back, you know, that bloke saved his life, you know. I wanted to get back and say, now I know what I want to talk to about, because now I've got much more of an idea about my behaviour patterns that I'm left with and what drives me and where do they come from, and knowing what I want to talk about. I didn't want to just go in there and go, sort me out, you know? Yeah. So I've a lot more understanding about like the intricacies of me and the things, you know, that I do that on a daily basis that have come from somewhere. The way I talk to myself when I drop something on the floor, or I spill something on my shirt. I mean, if you want to hear the language I use towards myself.
Well, what do you say to yourself?
I mean, yeah. You know, it's just that. Yeah. I know where that comes from. That comes from childhood. My stepdad used to say all the times, if I knock that glass, hey, you fucking clumsy arsehole, you know. And I was just always just that. And that was grilled in me. And I've just recognised this week that I do that. The way I talk to myself. And I spoke to myself on the bike like that lots, you know.
You're talking about therapy and talking about what your future looks like. A man that you shared the track with and the team with, Sir Chris Hoy, has had, you know, the news that none of us would want, which is a terminal cancer diagnosis. I think a reminder to you and to all of us, right, that while we're here, we deserve to do everything we can to make the most of these days. Yeah,
I mean, that hit everyone quite hard, that. And those of us that know Chris know what an absolute gentleman he is, what heart of gold, and it happens to the worst things happen to the best people, and he truly is a great, great person. And you know, I spent all my Olympic career with Chris when we were young. I remember sitting in dope control with him in Athens, where we both won gold. He won the first night, I won the second night, and he was sat there in dope control, having just won the kilometre, and he's going, "Do you want to touch my medal?" And I said, "No, Chris, I'm going to try and win mine tomorrow night." I thought he'd give me bad luck. And he was the first person who congratulated me when I won mine in Athens, came across the pen. And then when I won my 5th in Rio, he was there with Steve Redgrave at BBC interview. And it's tragic, it really is. And he's one of our greatest in many ways, not just on the bike, because I think what he's doing and the way he's handled it is, you know, it's gonna help a lot of people. And his lasting legacy is going to be infinite.
Yeah. Time for some quick-fire questions to round off our conversation. I'm so interested in how different these will be to the answers you would have given a few years ago. But as we sit here today, what do you believe are the 3 non-negotiable behaviours that are most important to you at this stage in your life?
Now, one that I've just learned in the last 2 weeks is accountability.
Yeah.
You know, to tell the truth, you know. Honesty. People say, "Oh, I'm an honest person all the time," things, but to really tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. And I don't mean for, you know, malevolent reasons, any like that, but just on a daily basis, you know. It's much easier to address things, you know, that you pursue, or for me, being an avoidant, create short-term peace, but ultimately knock the problem down the road. So that's one, true honesty, to tell the truth with myself on a daily basis. And the third one is never forget the past. And people say that you need to forget the past and focus on the future. I think the past has been the biggest thing that's helped reform me. Is looking back. But what I have to do is not living the past, but change my relationship with the past. Because lots of people say, that guy, I can't think about that period of my life. That was just horrible. I do, because that is the lesson where I learned there, and I changed my relationship with it. It's happened, and that comes from cycling as well in many ways. The disappointment of a race, you have to address it. You have to think what went wrong. What could I have done different? But it was the most disappointing race of my life because I got second and I should have won it. But we have to dissect that because it's the only way we'll move forward. And that's the same what I've adopted in my life.
What advice would you give to a young Bradley just starting out?
Look, we all know the struggle of deciding what to eat. But what if I told you that Huel can make that decision easier? Their taster bundle has got 8 ready-to-drink bottles, including their black edition, which has got 35 grams of protein, 6 daily A to Z vitamins, 8 complete nutrition bars, 2 hot savoury pots, and a free Huel t-shirt. All you have to do is click the link in the description to unlock your offer now at huel.com/high-performance.
The thing I've learned the most probably is not everyone who helps you is your friend, and not everyone who hurts you is your enemy, they all come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's, you got to know yourself, and it's, people say it's very easy to get manipulated and people get one over on you. It's not if you know who you are and know what you want and ask the right questions. But that's all very well if you're out there focusing an extreme focus on something else, you pay people to handle that for you. You don't want to be seen if the mortgage is paid when you're out doing 6 hours, so there is an element of having to trust the people around you and stuff, but it is what it is,
What does high performance mean to you?
High performance for me is, discipline really.
Yeah.
And not rising to the level of your goals, but falling to the level of your habits on a daily basis. And that is a process. Because, you say, I'm going to focus on the Olympics. Next Olympic Games in LA, I've got 3 years. And so you go out all super motivated for 6 months and then fall off the wagon. And, because motivation plays a very small part in having to go out and do something on a daily basis, and it's discipline. Discipline is everything, consistency, dealing with disappointments through a process, and so that's creating habits along the way where you're getting up and just doing it second nature without thinking about it. You don't think, God, I'm not motivated. I need some motivation to get out today. You just go out because you have to do it because it's part of the plan.
Yeah.
What's your biggest strength and your greatest weakness?
Probably my self-awareness. When I'm, the contributing things that go into that self-awareness, because we can all be very self-aware and delude ourselves and justify things, find things to justify why we're thinking in a certain way.
Yeah.
But as I say, just learned in recent weeks, true self-awareness. And at times it's manifested in different ways. People say you're too hard on yourself, you're too self-deprecating, you're too, you should be proud of what you've done. Because I've been quite brutal in my self-analysis at times in the past. And it sounds like you're not very proud of what you've done. And it's not now. I mean, I've had to go through those brutal parts of myself to really dissect where I am. But we're all self-aware, just in different ways, And
your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness is probably the level of what I'm capable of, and what I've achieved in the past. So at the moment, as I say, I'm trying to fall to the level of my habits, because it's, what do you want to do in 5 years' time? I would pitch for the stars, And at the moment, I'm just trying to keep some consistency and opportunity. I'm not sure what I want to do, but I know where I want to be as a person. And I think we reflect, and we things come to you by nature of the fact of the person you're being at that time, the opportunities that arise, like this. You wouldn't have had me on here if I was, drinking and smoking and in the papers a lot and, controversy and stuff, because I've obviously got something to contribute to a conversation around high performance and having been on some journey. So that tells me I'm in the right direction. So yeah, there's lots of things like that. But I think that I've got to just keep doing what I'm doing at the moment, and a goal will present itself, whatever that is. And I think, that might not be something that's on the radar at the moment. Talking about some of the issues I'm talking about opportunities have arose from some of those that I never imagined, or that I never started talking about them because I imagined an opportunity like that would arise. So it's very interesting, you know. You create different avenues for yourself by being the best version of yourself.